Hello, Monica and Sophiane. Teacher Mark Shelby. Well, every once in a while I like to change it up from the baseball hat. I need to buy a new baseball hat. All right. How is everyone doing? What's the topic today? I don't know. I don't know. What should I teach today? What should I do? What do you think I should do? Why don't you guys argue about it for a bit? You guys argue and tell me what you decide, and then I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. I should say. Maybe. Yeah, I'm sleepy too. Random Q&A is always available. You can always just ask me a question. You should. You should. You guys don't make me work enough. All you have to do is come loaded with questions. That's not hard. I don't ask you to have answers. I just want you to have the questions. Loyal Forever wants me to teach grammar. I don't think I'm ready for grammar yet. You're tired of studying. What should you do? Don't study. Play. Flavia, anytime you're studying something, if you're trying to learn something, there has to be a balance between study and play, and study and play. So, have you been playing with English or just studying? So, what do I mean when I say playing with English? Read a book, not one that's for, learning, just for fun. Read an English book, but one that's for fun. Watch an English movie or an English TV show for fun. Write an English poem for fun. Write an English short story for fun. Right? Do something playful. That's it. Every time I learn some new skill, I have like an 80-20 theory where I work on, about 80% of the time is studying it, and then I need about 20% of the time to play with it. And then I move to the next idea, the next thing to study. Okay? So, if you're tired of studying, play. Thank you, Dodo. Definitely grammar. It is the hardest. Well, yeah, but it is the hardest. It's also the most boring. But it's too big. You got to tell me something. You can't just say teach grammar. What? What in grammar? There are a million things I could teach in grammar. Tell me what. Am I angry today? No. Why would you think I am angry? Hello, Luca. Luca wants me to do phrasal verbs with get. I could probably do that. That's pretty easy because I have a great page for that. Let me find that page. Have you ever seen this page? This is 66 English phrasal verbs with get. There are 66 of them right here. Get about, get above, get across to, get after, get ahead of, get along. Now, Luca, do you need all of these? No, you don't need all of these. What I recommend is, well, yes, it's a huge number. Get is one of the most popular phrasal verb words, right? So get has many more than most do, all right? Don't worry, they're not all like this. Get is just the big one. Okay? But you don't need to know all of them. What I want you to do is I want you to try to look at all of them and study what they mean, and then I want you to choose the ones that you feel would be valuable in your life. Right? So let's take a look at just a few, right? How about get ahead? What does get ahead mean? Do you guys know what get ahead means? To get ahead. To get ahead, what's it say right here? It's progress, right? So I'm trying to get ahead, right? At work, maybe. Right? So you're doing a little bit more than you normally do. You want the boss to see that you're working harder. So you show up a little bit earlier and you leave a little bit later and you do a little bit of extra, right? Why? You know, somebody will say, hey, what are you working so hard for? And you could say, oh, well, I'm trying to get ahead. I'm trying to get ahead. All right? That's a kind of progress, right? Or maybe, look at it, what does it say here? Nowadays, you need IT skills if you want to get ahead. All right? But then there's get ahead of. If you add the word of, now it's a different meaning. Now it means to move in front of someone. So maybe you're standing in line and someone says, you know, you can get ahead of me if you want to. If you want to get ahead of me, that's fine. Okay? To move in front of someone. Is there a get behind? There is. We'll take a look at that. Getting on is the same as get ahead. Not necessarily, no. If I say, how are you getting on, that means how are you doing? Is everything okay? You know, is there any problem? That's more of that. This page is right here. Yeah, usingenglish.com. And Susu, remember, be careful if you put if you put links in the page, they might block you. So maybe let me do the links. Okay, let's see what else. Let's go back and look at some more. There's get behind. There's get behind. What does get behind mean? It means to have support from someone, right? So maybe you'll say, when I had to go to university for the first time, my family really got behind me. My family really got behind me when I had to go to university. It means they're behind you. They're supporting you. They're saying, "Come on, you can do it." Right? They're giving you moral and emotional support, or maybe even physical support. They might be holding you up. To get behind someone, to hold them up, right? Did you know that that's where the word support comes from? What does support mean, everybody? What does support mean? To help, to back up. So, what does port mean? Do you guys remember what the meaning of the word port is? Port means to carry. Port means to carry. And what the first three letters of support are S-U-P. So you don't know anything about S-U-P, but do you know what S-U-B means? What does S-U-B mean? Sub means under. So when you support someone, you are under them and you are carrying them. Support. Support. Support means that you're carrying them, you're helping them, you're holding them up. You are under them, holding them up. Sub means under, port means carry. That's what support is. So getting behind someone, it means to give them support. Okay, let's do some more. How about get away with? Get away with. To get away with something. What's that mean? To get away with something. Get away with something means that you were able to do something wrong or bad and nobody caught you or criticized you. Right? So, for example, if I steal something from the store and nobody catches me, then I got away with it. I got away with it. To get away with the crime means that you did a crime and no one caught you. Nobody caught you. Okay? You got away with it. You were successful at your crime. Right? So it means doing a bad thing and not getting caught, or the other meaning of get away with means to do something poorly, but nobody criticizes you. Right? So, for example, maybe your company starts using a cheaper kind of paper, right? So you used to use this paper, but now you started using a cheaper kind of paper, and you are hoping that nobody will notice. If they don't notice, then you got away with it. You were able to do something without any criticism, right? To achieve something that maybe somebody might not like, but they didn't know, so you got away with it. So to get away with could mean that you did something bad or illegal, but you were not caught. Or it could mean that you did something incorrectly or improperly, and you were not caught. Okay? Or not criticized. All right? So look at so many of these get ones right here. All right, so you can explore these, right? To get through something. So there's a few different ways to use to get through, right? Get through with contact, right? So I tried calling her mobile phone, but I couldn't get through. That means to make contact with someone, right? I'm trying to call you, but it's ringing and ringing and ringing and nobody's answering. So I can't get through. I can't make contact. Okay? Consume, to get through 2 bottles of wine a day. He gets through. Now, in America, we usually would say goes through, not gets through, but it's not that. It's possible. It's possible that you could say he gets through 2 bottles of wine a day. Or to finish something. So I'm going to take some work home because I haven't managed to get through it all today, right? So I want to read all of these papers today. I need to get through all of these today. It means to complete, to finish. I need to get through all of this. Hey, please don't interrupt me. I have a lot of things to say. Let me get through it all, please. Right? Let me get through. Let me finish. All right? Or the final one here is to succeed in an exam, or it's not the final one, to succeed in an exam or a test. My car didn't get through its inspection. So you have to take your car every year maybe to get inspected for something, right? Like we used to have to get them inspected for the emissions, right? There was emissions problems. So they had to get them inspected. If your car doesn't pass the inspection, then it didn't get through. It didn't get through. All right? Let's see, this is pretty much the same thing. My teacher got me through the exam. They got you through it. So there's something difficult. They're helping you through something difficult. So maybe you broke up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend and you're very sad. And you have your friends. They are helping you get through it. They're helping you get through your breakup. They're through your sadness, okay, to get through it, right? Then we have another way to say it. If the proposal gets through, it'll make things much better for us. That means if it's accepted. If it's accepted. Okay? Or here's this one. We will have to be careful with our money to get through the month. That means to make it through, to endure, to make it to the end. Right? So there's a lot of these here. Look, 10 of them for get through. The water got through the roof and damaged the carpets. So that just literally means comes through. And the final one here, the message didn't get through. To arrive. Yeah, now that one's a little confusing because that could be contact or arrive. But either way, it's fine. Right? So, once again, my recommendation for phrasal verbs. For example, this one has 66 different possible phrasal verbs, and there are more variations within those variations, right? So, get over has more than one meaning if you look at this. So that means there's more than just 66. But you should look to see which ones feel like something you might use. Will I use this one? Or do I need this one or not? Right? I don't think I need that one. Okay, fine. You don't need that one. Don't worry about that one. Just look at the ones that you do need. All right? Focus on those. All right. So there we go. Phrasal verbs. Hello over in my YouTube channel to my YouTubers. Vaishak, I'm not sure what that is. And then we got Demetrius. Hello, Demetrius. Which website was that? Let's see if I can pull that up again. It's called usingenglish.com. So I don't think I can put it in the chat there. Let me see. Here it is in the Hello Talk chat again. Well, I can't sign into my chat right now, unfortunately, Demetrius. Oh, you got it. Okay, good. All right, excellent. All right. Get through with food and money. Can I explain this? Well, get through involving food could be a bunch of different situations. One could be maybe you have a bunch of food, like a restaurant. You know, you bought a bunch of rice for your restaurant, right? Maybe you bought 100 pounds or 100 kilos of rice. Okay, great. Then the boss will say, hey, did you get through all that? Meaning, did you complete it? Did you finish it? Did you use it all up? Okay, so there's one way to use get through with food. Or maybe you're at a food competition and they want you to eat this huge plate of food. It's so much food. It's too much food. And you can say, I wasn't able to get through it, which means to complete it, to finish it. Okay? So with money, to get through... you could send money, right? If you're sending money, if I sent money to you and I said, "Oh, did it get through?" means did it arrive? Did it arrive? Okay? Hello, Joanne. Hello, Mozamo. I've gotten you through learning some new phrasal verbs. Yes, you could say that. You could say, you've gotten us through. You've gotten us through for the right tense. Okay, ask me some questions. I'm bored. Come on, I'm bored. My brain is bored. I am a teacher. I want to teach, but you have to ask me some questions. So let's do it. Come on. I'm waiting. I've got my Thomas Shelby hat on. I'm ready for an Irish fight. Let's do it. Come on, give me some questions. MR says, I want to learn English business. I think you mean business English. Which method can I suggest? I suggest business English is something that you should learn online, not with books. And the reason why is because business English has to stay current. It has to be the most current, the most modern, right? If you make a book next year, that book might be too old. Okay? So you can find many websites that have courses to teach business English. I have one for you. I'm trying to remember. I think it's this one. No. Wait a minute. I can't type today. Okay, now let's see. EnglishClub.com has somewhere. Where is it? Let me find it for you. Business English, right there. Check out this website for some help with business English. There are many websites like this that have a section that you can learn about business English. There are also many YouTube channels that you can watch to learn business English. All right? The truth of the matter is, almost everything that you need to learn things by yourself is already available for free online, but 99% of the world doesn't have the patience or the focus to find it. That's it. It's there, but you just don't have the patience to go look for it. Okay, let me see. What else do we have? What would I say when a child asks, why do I have to learn things I don't know when I can just use AI to find the answers? Okay, that's a good question. Why do you eat? Why do you feed yourself? Why do you put your clothes on by yourself? Let's start with that. Personal responsibility. There's a simple thing called personal responsibility, and learning is part of a human personal responsibility. We have a responsibility to learn. We have a responsibility to learn. And I would say this. Here's my question. After I answer that question for them, then I will ask them. Why won't you ever be great? If a student asks me, why do I have to learn if AI can do it? Then I'll say, why won't you ever be great? You're never going to be great. Do you know why? Because you're never going to try to be great. You just said it. You just said you're not going to try to be great. You're just going to let AI do everything for you. You can't be great if AI does everything for you. So I like to ask that question. My teacher said that to me. He said, Mark, you're never going to be great. Now, he wasn't serious. He was making a point. He was saying, you're never going to be great because you never try. You always do the least, not the most. Why do you always do the least? Why don't you ever do the most? Why do you find value in always being lazy? So what I would say is, actually, I'm not worried about AI replacing humans. I don't mind if AI replaces labor. Humans are not work. Humans are humans. Work is work. Now, in between there's some overlap because sometimes the work that you do can be valuable to you as a human, that you feel good about what you do. I like teaching. I enjoy teaching. It's a job, but it also benefits other people and myself and the community. So, AI is going to make a whole bunch of people lazy for a while, but I think they'll get bored with it pretty quickly, and I think that there will be some people who might become dumber because they're too lazy. And the only way I can combat that, the only way I can change that is by reminding people that if you want to be great, then you have to do great things. You can't be great by doing lazy things. You know? Okay, let me see. What else? Good question, though. I like the question. Um, tell us a memory of myself. Um, that's a bit vague. Can you give me something more specific you want to know? A memory of myself. I used to play in the woods all day when I was a boy. My friends and I, during the summertime, we would go to the swimming pool, the local swimming pool. It was a YMCA that was not too far away from us. We would, get our towels and throw them on our shoulders and climb over the fence and go to the pool for the day if it was really, really hot. If it wasn't too hot, then we would go into the woods and just explore. And we thought we were just being little wild creatures, but it was really a classroom. We were learning. We learned a lot just by running around and playing. I can tell you the name of almost every single plant and tree in my area. I can tell you about the animals and any life that you might find in the water, in the creeks here, and the rivers and the streams. I can tell you about geology and fossils, paleontology, and lots of things. And we thought we were just running around playing in the woods, and we were, but playing is the best form of learning. Obvious versus oblivious. So the difference, Mona, is obvious, right? Now, the other word is oblivious, oblivious. So the second word comes from the word oblivion, right? So it's not oblivion, it's oblivion, right? So the big difference between them is a short O and a long O, right? Obvious is a short O. Oblivion is a long O. Mozamel, if you're new, then just watch and listen. Okay, just watch and listen. There are 90,000 people who follow me, so just pay attention and just watch and learn, and maybe make some notes. Can I say how can I get through insomnia? Yes, you can. Yeah, although it could have a few different meanings. So maybe if you're awake, you have insomnia, and you're trying to, you've decided I don't want to sleep anymore, so you're going to do something, right? So I read all night to get through my insomnia. That works. Okay. All right. Let's see. One moment. All right. What's the next question? Where are we going? How to conjugate verbs in past progressive. Okay, so past progressive was and were, right? So I was walking, you were walking, we were walking, they were walking, he was walking, she was walking, it was walking. Okay? So the rule is, well, it's pretty much the same as the others, just you use was and were, right? And so you use was for he, she, it, and were for they were, we were, you were. Right? Did I leave one out? I think I left one out. We. Did I say we? I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Yeah, I got them all. All right. You didn't know I have a YouTube channel. I do. I have a YouTube channel. And wait a minute over here in my YouTube. I will get to you in just 1 second. So here is my YouTube channel there. Demetrius says, we talked some months ago and I asked you about some websites I could improve my English. You don't have any questions right now. Okay. But my recommendations were great. Good. I'm glad. Hello, Ricardo. Four years ago, I couldn't understand what you said. Now you're speaking, or your speaking was hard for me. Now I understand you very well. How can I improve my listening better than now? Asa, I would say you need to listen more. You need to listen more. Let me ask you a question. If you are a musician, what is your most important job? If you are a musician, what's your most important thing? What's the most important thing if you're a musician? Listening, listening, listening. If a musician wants to make a melody, to make a sound, we listen first. Musicians have to be professional listeners. Professional listeners. So, you listen to music for fun. Musicians listen to music like a biologist will dissect a frog. All right? So a biologist will cut the frog open and look inside and name all the parts and see how it works, right? They'll dissect the frog. They'll understand every little part of the frog. That's what a musician does with listening to a song. So, why am I telling you about musicians? Because if you want to be a better listener, then you need to learn how to listen better. If you want to be a better listener, then you need to learn how to listen better. And musicians know how to listen on a much deeper level than most people do. And that's why musicians have an advantage if they learn languages, because they already understand listening. So, if you want to learn how to listen better, then listen better. All right, let's see. What's the next question? Please be patient. Wow, I missed a lot. Hello, Waleed. Okay, I finally. Let's see. Hello, Precious. Can I explain to figure? So, figure is a word that it means shape or number, right? So, a long time ago, we used to say, I'm practicing my figures. It means I'm doing math. Like 2 plus 2 is 4. Those are your figures, right? Did you work on your figures today? Did you practice your figures? That's like saying math, okay? And we also say, figure out this problem. To figure out a problem. That's like math. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Those are figures that you're figuring out the solution. Okay? But a figure is also a shape. Right? So, you know, a woman might say, I'm working on my figure, you know? It means the shape of her body. She's trying to work on the figure, the shape, right? So figure can be shape, figure can be numbers. We usually say to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. Means I'm trying to understand or solve the problem or find the solution. Okay, let's see. Let's do some challenges about meaning sentences. I don't know what that means, Yusuf. You want to speak without translating the words in your mind before speaking. So, Boda, then you just answered your own question, Boda. You want to speak in your mind in English, but you can't. You just said you can speak with your words, but not with your mind. So then you need to teach yourself how to speak with your mind. Right? That's the problem, is that your mind is translating everything because you don't know how to use your mind in English. Okay? EnglishClub.com. If you go to my website, everybody, on my website, you will find all of the links that you need. Okay? My website is here. Okay, if you go to my website here, then you have to sign up. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. But you have to give me your email address. And then once you do that, then you can go to resources. And wow, look at this. Teacher Mark's top English resources. Yes, free. This website is free. My new website will not be free, but this one is. So, look, if you want to work on your reading or your writing or your listening or your speaking or your grammar or your vocabulary or pronunciation, or you want to study for the IELTS or the TOEFL, then come on this page here, go to this page and click one, like speaking. Click. Boom. iteslj.org, English topics, ESL, English conversation questions, talk English speaking lessons, British Council English speaking. Hello Talk Language Exchange. Look at that. There's you right there. That's us. All right. So this is the website right here. Okay. All right, let's see. Hello, Noor. These days, there are a lot of resources to learn English, but because plenty resources, we lost focus. How to concentrate on learning English. Okay, Jika, that is a good thing to understand. Jika is saying that yes, almost everything that you need to learn or study by yourself is available online, right? But it's so much. There's so much online that it's intimidating, right? How do you stay focused? And how can you find it all, right? And I remember when I was a kid that they took us one day to the school library, that everybody in class had to go to the school library. And why were we going to the library? We were going to the library because the librarian was going to teach us how to use the library. Because just like the internet, the library is also really big. And if you can't find things, if you don't know where things are, then you can't really use it, right? So that's the librarian's job, is to teach you how to use the card catalog to find things, right? We used to do it the old way, right? With the card catalog, with the actual book cards, right? The paper cards that you would use, right? So my point is that, yes, you need to sit down and think about, how will I use this vast resource in a way that is functional and useful to me? Okay? And what I would say is, these are the kinds of things that are great to talk with ChatGPT or AI about. You can say, hey, you know what? I want to learn English. I want to self-study. I know that there are resources available, but how do I figure out which ones are the best ones for me? Ask it. Ask it, and it will help you figure that out. Okay? Let me teach you an English phrase. To hash it out. Hashing something out is a slang phrase that means to figure out the problem, figure out the solution. Take the time to work out the problem, right? So if I say, let's hash it out, that means let's talk about it and figure it out. Okay? So I want you to sit down and hash it out. What should I do? Use ChatGPT and hash it out. Say, hey, I want to self-study, but what should I do? How do I stay on a plan? Can you help me make a plan? All right? That's one of the most important things, is you have to have a plan. You know what's great about being a teacher? When you're a teacher, teaching is all about making a plan. I have to have a plan for everything. If I want to teach you this, I need a plan to teach you that. If I want to teach you that, I need a plan to teach you that. Good teachers have a plan. Right? You don't just randomly say, well, this is this and this is this. No, you have to have a plan. Right? And that takes some time. You have to think about it. Okay? So hash it out, make a plan. All right. All right, please be patient. There are still many questions I have not answered, but I am going to. But that was a good question, Jika. Sometimes I feel I'm down to the point of not doing anything. Roya, what do you mean by that? Do you mean down like depressed down? Not interested? That happens sometimes too. Sometimes you need to just put it down for a little while. Have you ever noticed how if you smell a rose, if you smell a flower and it smells good, if you put that down for a while and you come back to it, it smells better. So what I mean is sometimes if you smell the same rose every day, you get bored with the smell of that rose. Put it down for a minute, come back to it. Or you know what I love? I'll tell you what I love. Here's what I love. Sometimes I'm cooking dinner and I'm making this delicious meal and it smells amazing in the house. It smells amazing, right? But you're in the middle of cooking, and when you're in the middle of cooking, it's almost like it gets lost after a while. You stop smelling the amazing smells because you've been smelling it the whole time. But then I have to go outside for a minute. I have to go outside to get the mail or something, right? Now I'm outside, and now I am breathing the fresh air, and I come back inside. And now suddenly, wow, oh man, that smells good, right? So that means sometimes taking a break for a minute, it's refreshing. Literally, it refreshes you. Take a break. Okay, please be patient. Wow, okay. Hold your questions. Hold your questions for 5 minutes. Let me try to get through some of these. Normal, I want you to take that question and ask AI. Okay? Ask AI to give you words that sound the same when you speak but have different meanings and spellings when you write. Ask AI to teach you about that. That's a perfect AI question. Okay? All right. My son would answer he doesn't care about being great. And that's okay too, Tanya. Except Tanya, learning is about finding out what you don't know. That should be all you need. You don't know it, so you should learn it. We should make learning on a basic level more obviously important. You all think money is important. You all think, oh, but I have to make money. I have to. I need to. It's important. I have to do that. But none of you feel the same way about learning. Your entire human potential. Not important to you. And Tanya, don't be so Russian. Tanya, you're a little on the nose. Do you know that phrase, Tanya? On the nose. It means predictable. It's like, I could guess that. It's right on the nose. Okay? What that means is, I'm not trying to insult you, Tanya. I love you. You've been watching me for a long time. We have a good rapport, I know. But what I'm trying to tell you, Tanya, is you are a parent. If you are a parent, you are a teacher. Every parent is a teacher, whether you like it or not. You have a child. They are learning from you. So you can choose to teach them actively, or you can sit back and let them learn from you, and they will. But they're not going to learn everything that you want them to because you're not giving them any direction. So, Tanya, what I'm telling you is, as a parent, it's a fine line because, yes, you need to make your kid feel okay. You need to make your kid feel that they are loved and accepted for what they are, right? However they are. Sure, you do need to do that. But you also need to be the person who tells your kid, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Just try. Just try. And, Tanya, you don't have to be great at everything for there to be value in the experience. So there's a guy who I teach drum lessons to. He's a 63-year-old rich dude. I teach him drum lessons once a week, right? Is he ever going to be a great drummer? No. No, he just started playing drums late in life, all right? But he's learning a lot. His experience of music is completely different now because he's studying the drums. And he's learning about these things that he never understood before. Now, he's never going to be great, but he's learning the value. So, Tanya, you have to embrace your kids and inspire your kids. You have to do both. You can't just if you want to plant a garden, you can throw the seeds in the garden and let it go. That's one way to garden. But we all know that there are problems with that, right? There are lots of problems with that method, right? Or you can create perfect rows and use perfect science to do it just the right way. That's not necessarily the perfect way either, right? Doing it scientifically, right? But somewhere in between there, there's a very perfect method of guiding the garden so that it's safe and also encouraging it to grow healthily. Understand? So, Tanya, as a teacher, every kid that comes into my classroom, I want them to find greatness in something. I want them to feel the potential that they could be. Maybe they never will be, but my job is to make them feel like they could, because sometimes they can. And sometimes belief begins outside of you. Occasionally, when you're a child, especially, children, sometimes they don't have the confidence to believe in themselves. But if the teacher believes in that kid, suddenly the kid believes in themselves. So my job is not to say that 80% is okay. My job is to say 80% is pretty good, but I think you can do better. Let's try. Let's do it together. Let me help you try to get 85%, 90%. Who knows? Maybe even 100. Sometimes children don't know that they're supposed to grow unless you tell them. All right? Sometimes kids don't know they're supposed to grow unless you tell them. All right. Wow, that was a long one. I'm sorry that took so long, but I'm still trying to answer all these questions that are in the chat now. Please be patient. Be more optimistic than pessimistic. Use it and get rich. Don't even know what that's talking about, but okay, Sam. There's more to life than money, though, Sam. Elon Musk has more money than any man on Earth, but he seems to be pretty unhappy. There's nobody can look at that guy and say he's happy. Come on. Really? You look at that dude and think he's healthy and happy? I don't think so. I think he's got a lot of issues. That just shows you, no matter how much money you have, you can still have a bag of issues that you carry around with you. All right. Is grammar that important? Grammar is important sometimes, and it's not important other times. So listen, here's my take on grammar. If you're taking a test, like the IELTS test or the TOEFL test, then grammar is very important. If you're in school, then grammar is very important. If you are at work and your job uses English in some way, then probably grammar is important. But if you are just at the grocery store or the park and you're talking to someone there, you know, a neighbor or a friend, grammar is not that important. Okay, life is not a grammar test. So, the reason why I don't want you to worry about grammar when you speak is because if you worry, then now you have two problems. You have bad grammar and you have worry. I would rather you only have one problem, just have bad grammar, and then you can use that bad grammar, and what happens is you will make mistakes. Sure, you'll make mistakes, and that's how you'll learn which one is right. It's actually a great way to figure out the right way. It's called trial and error. Okay? Then, I want you to think about grammar is like the table in your kitchen. You have a table in your kitchen, and every time you use it, you have to clean it. Right? But you don't worry about the table. You don't go, oh, the table, oh no, the table. What am I going to do about the table? No. It's a table, you eat, you clean. You eat, you clean. That is the way grammar is. When you use the language, it's like you're eating, and you just need to clean it up every once in a while, right? So every time after you eat, you have to look at your grammar and think, what should I do to fix this? Clean the table. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, because why? You're going to clean it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. Grammar is like your kitchen table. It's never completely clean. It's never finished. You have to clean it again. Every time you use it, you clean it. All right? All right, I think that's it. Oh, and then I will say this about grammar. Life is not a grammar test. But grammar is the magic of language. If you have great grammar, people will listen to you. If you understand grammar well, you can use that magic of communication, and people will pay attention to you. That's powerful. So, grammar is what gives words power. Okay, you can speak without great grammar, and people might understand you, but they might not be moved. They might not feel it. But if you use great grammar, not just great grammar, but the magic of grammar, we'll call it, then it's like magic. People will listen to you. All right? All right. All right. I'm not sure what we're talking about. Sam said something about being rich, and I have no idea what that is. But Sam, you sound young. You need to read more, Sam, and you need to get out and see the world more, Sam. Lily says, I can use AI to recognize them just as wisdom as you, and I don't need to learn and remember that. I'm not sure what that was talking about. Okay, I guess I need to skip through some comments because I don't understand what these comments are about now. Is there a semantic link between boy and boisterous? No. Let me make sure of something. No. The word boisterous comes from Middle English boistus, which then comes from an old French word, bustos, which meant, or busto, which meant rough, like a rough road. So the word boisterous means to be very loud, right? So the word boisterous originally was talking about a rough road, because when you ride on the road that's rough, it's very loud. But the word boy is only linked by the sound. It's got the same sound in the beginning, but there's no other link. Let's see. Okay, so I think what we were talking about, somebody was asking me a question and I said, you should use AI. And they were saying, you shouldn't use AI every time. And you're right, you shouldn't use AI every time. But here is what I'm telling you. What I am telling you is, I am not here all the time. I'm only here a few hours a week. Okay? So when I am here, you should ask me the questions that you can ask me. But guess what? AI is available 24 hours a day. So that means you can use it. You have access to it in a way that you do not have access to a teacher. So that means, yes, you should use AI. You should be very careful with it. You should not just trust it. You should use it as a source of information. Information that you must check. But you can check it quickly because it works so fast. So, stop with this debate about whether you should or shouldn't use AI. You should use it. Just like any other resource, you should not just use it blindly. You should use it with critical care. Think about what you're doing and consider what it says and check again and again and again. Doubt. If you have doubt, you'll be fine. If you are a lazy person who just wants the answers, well, then you have bigger problems. All right? And all I'm trying to tell you is I'm sorry, but there are some questions that if you ask me here, there are some questions that I will tell you, just ask AI. Because that question, if you ask AI that question, it will give you the perfect answer. So don't waste my time. That's my point. Don't waste my time with questions that you can get the answer to yourself with ChatGPT on your own time. Come here with questions that you cannot get on ChatGPT. Okay? Come here with other questions. All right? I'm sorry, but I have to make you understand that I'm not going to answer questions that you can just get very easily. I am not Google. You already have Google. Use it. Okay? And Nermal. Nermal, you've been following me for a long time, Nermal. But you kind of have a habit of doing this. You always come to my stream and you ask a question again and again and again, or you ask a question that I tell you you should just look it up. It's right there. There are a bunch of websites that will tell you. There are literally thousands of websites about English. Every answer is there. You just have to search for it. You can. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Okay? Open up your internet and get on there and look. All right? I'm sorry, but I have to push back every once in a while. I have to push back. Okay. Let me see. All right. Fatima says, I go to English class to study English, but I think I lost my motivation. It's like I couldn't continue. Do you have any suggestions? Yes, Fatima, you need to think about why you're learning English. Why are you learning English? Do you want to learn English? Maybe you don't really want to learn English. In life, sometimes there are some things that you need to do that you don't have a choice about, that you have to do. That might be one of them. But maybe you do like English, but you've forgotten about why you like it, right? So go read a great book and remember why you like English. Go listen to some great music and remember why you like English. Think about what you can do with your English. If you could travel here or travel there or talk to this person or talk to that person, right? So, Fatima, what I say is anyone can climb a mountain, but everyone will climb that mountain better if you have a good reason. Okay, so if your mother is sick at the top of the mountain, then you'll get to the top of that mountain. So you have to think about, why are you doing this? What is your motivation? Motivations. You should have as many layers of motivation as you can find. Okay? Contemplate the potential of your learning. This idea of learning 5 new words daily, is it really efficient? No, it's not efficient. It's not bad, but it's not efficient. One moment. Five new words daily, I mean, that's not going to teach you much. There are thousands and thousands of words. That's not an efficient way at all. Shaima, I answered about past progressive earlier. I don't know if you heard my answer, but I did answer about past progressive. Ashley says, I find myself lost sometimes in finding words, even if I practice regularly with native speakers. So do I, Ashley. There are a lot of words, and you have good days and bad days. That's okay. It's okay. And yes, it is a drum set behind me because I am a drummer. All right. Okay. Um, do I have any advice about getting rid of fear? Yeah, Alina, don't be afraid. Okay, please wait a minute. Please stop with the questions. Please stop because I can't. I can't. There's too many questions. Just wait for a minute. Can you guys hold your questions for just a few minutes and let me try to catch up? Good Lord, I cannot catch up. So, the last one I saw here was. One moment. Where is it? So yeah, Ashley, this whole thing with 5 words daily, I don't know who told you that, but I've never told anybody that. I have a bunch of ways to learn vocabulary, Ashley. Here's my article about learning vocabulary. Go read my article about, whoops, no, there it is. This is my article about the ways you should learn vocabulary. Now, facing fear. Fear. Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid of speaking? It's words, right? So I understand if you are afraid of a tiger or a lion. I understand if you are afraid of a bear or a shark. But why are you afraid of words? They're words. Maybe they will laugh at you. Maybe. So what? So what if they laugh at you? In life, you must learn how to deal with that. There will always be monkeys who laugh. Monkeys in the trees, laughing at you. You have to ignore the monkeys. Okay? You're learning, aren't you? I think you're learning. If you're learning, then why are you paying attention to the audience? They're not part of your learning. They're not part of this. Okay? So you have to care more about your learning than you do about their laughing. Okay? And Alina, fear is often because you don't have confidence. Confidence comes from experience. So if you do things, then you get this feeling that you can do things, right? That's how confidence works. Go do something, and then you feel like, oh, wow, I can do something. And then once you can do one thing, then you feel like maybe I can do another thing, right? So, confidence comes from experience. If you want to be confident, go do things and try. And sometimes you'll fail and you'll have to try again. But you never really fail as long as you try again. Okay? If you quit, then you fail. But if you keep trying, then you're just trying again. Okay? That's called experience building confidence. All right? Okay. I am trying to scroll and answer, but still I cannot. I don't even know if the people are in my audience still answering the questions that I'm answering are so far back in the chat that I think they might be too late. Waleed, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but you know, man, I hate to tell you to be patient, man, because I think that anybody in your situation has been about as patient as they can possibly be as a human, but consider yourself a master of patience, Waleed. Anybody who lives where you live is a master of patience. So, you can deal with it. You're a master. What's the difference between perceive versus discern versus distinguish? Okay, let me check one thing. Huh, okay. So the word perceive, perceive comes from the word perception, right? That's so perception is something that you can see, right? If you look at the word perceive, the original meaning, there it is. It comes from the Latin word percipere, which means to take possession of, to gather, to get, right? So it means to grasp with the mind. Do you get it? To perceive. The original meaning of perceive is just to understand, right? So, can you perceive this? Means can you see or understand what I'm talking about, right? In your mind, okay? That's my perception, means that's my view. That's the way I see it in my mind. That's the way I grasp it in my mind. Okay? Discern and distinguish are actually pretty close to each other. To discern something means, if I say he's a very discerning person, it means he's able to tell the difference between things well, right? So, for example, maybe you are a wine tasting judge. You taste wine, right? So you have to be able to tell many, many, many differences between many kinds of wine. That's not a normal person's taste. That's a discerning taste, right? A very discerning taste. The ability to be able to tell many different kinds, right? Distinguish is one of my favorite words to talk about the etymology of, because the word distinguish comes from baking. When bakers had to make bread, they had to make a lot of bread for a lot of people, and so they didn't know, well, you know, whose bread goes to which person, right? How many loaves go here and how many loaves go to this person? So the way that they would tell the difference between bread was they would mark the top of the bread, right? They would make a design in the bread, right? So that you could make flowers on this one, that goes to these people. And the one that has hearts on it, oh, that goes to those people. And the one that has horses on it, oh, that goes to these people, right? So the word distinguish, dis means away, away from. So discern and distinguish, the dis, they both mean away from. But discern comes from the second part of the word cern comes from cernere, I think it was. And it means to tell the difference, to set apart, right? So, but distinguish comes from the word dis, meaning away, and stinguere, which meant to poke with like a knife, because they would poke the bread with a knife to make a shape or a design, and then they can tell the difference between this bread and that bread. Okay, so perceive means the way you understand it with your mind. Discern means your ability to tell the difference between things. Distinguish means the difference between things too. Let me check one more thing. I'm going to almost say that distinguish and discern are almost interchangeable most of the time. Okay, so discern means to recognize or perceive something that is hidden or unclear or difficult to see, right? So discerning things are things that are hard to see for most people, right? Like the wine guy I was talking about, right? Most people can't tell the difference between this wine and that wine. Not really. But the wine guy, oh, the sommelier, right? He knows the difference between those, right? But the word distinguish just means to recognize the difference between two or more things. Okay, so distinguish is more common in general. Discerning is for things that are more special and hard to see that most people can't appreciate. Okay? Are you mocking me? Mocking, to mock means to make fun of someone. It's usually Mocking is how that you spell it. Okay? Are you mocking me means are you making fun of me? Arabic language and English language, how can you learn? Well, I can't teach you how to learn the Arabic language because I don't know the Arabic language. I know a few words, but I don't know the language. But if I wanted to learn Arabic, I would sit down and make a plan. I would think about, okay, I need to learn the vocabulary of this language. I need to learn the grammar of this language. I need to learn the pronunciation of this language. I need to see things about reading and writing and listening and speaking and thinking. I have to practice thinking in this language. So I'd make a plan. Okay? AI is not good for translating into English. It's been pretty good for me. Most of the languages that I have tried to translate with AI, it has done pretty well. CR7 is your cousin. Okay, well, welcome, CR7. Many people say preventing this way to speak, but don't think in your mother language, then translate to English. But how can we skip thinking in this way? So, Ahura, you have to train your brain. Your brain is a muscle, right? So, Ahura, if you want to ride a bike, then you have to train your body to ride the bike, right? If you want to learn to write, then you have to train your hand to write. Right? If you want to train your mind to use English, then you have to use English in your mind. Start simply, Ahura. So start with simple things like baby things. What do babies think about? I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm hungry, tired, sad, angry, happy, whatever. That's it. Simple things, right? I like this, I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this, I need this, I don't need this. That's simple. So do that. Start with that. Don't tell me I can't think in English if you didn't try to do even the baby things. Those are baby things, but you don't do them. So, try doing the baby things, then you can come back and tell me whether you can or can't do it. Okay. I cannot teach you how to pronounce things correctly. You can come here and listen to me to learn how to pronounce things correctly. Okay? I'd still rather be miserable in a Lambo. That's what Roya says. Well, let me think about my words for just a moment. I think I would rather be happy with my humanity. The more things you have in life, the less human you become. You possess more things. You worry more about your things. You're not worried about humans anymore. You're worried about your things. So you might rather be miserable in a Lambo, but I would rather be happy with my humanity still intact. Okay. On the nose. On the nose means as expected, or exactly correct. Okay? Sarita G says, hello, teacher. I am practicing English with Elsa speaking app. It never gets whenever I pronounce the letter V. It always says an incorrect pronunciation. So, Sarita, the letter V, you have to take your teeth, the top row of your teeth, you have to put them on top of your bottom lip just a little bit, like this. Watch. Okay? You see my teeth? They're right just pressed against my top teeth, right? My bottom lip is against my top teeth. And then you just push a sound between your teeth and the lip, right? So what I want you to do is practice the letter V and stretch it. So make a list of V words like very, vocabulary, right? Vociferous. I always love that word, right? So V, and make it long. When we were kids, we used to practice the sound of a car, right? We would say va 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 voom, va 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 voom. So I want you to practice that. Okay? All right. Okay. What's challenging is that colloquial English is different from formal English. That's true, it is. But I think you should always learn the correct way to speak before you learn the incorrect way to speak, right? So learn the proper way, and then you'll learn how to loosen that up, right? That's the way to do it. It's easier to do that than it is to learn the improper way and then try to get formal. The likelihood is you'll never learn the formal way. If you start with the improper and colloquial way, the chances are you will never reach a formal level because you'll always keep it loose and relaxed. But if you learn the proper way and then loosen it up, that can be done. Okay? All right. Okay, and please, Nermal, you've been following me for a long time, Nermal, and I want you to continue to come here. But, Nermal, I'm going to give you an article. Wait a minute, I have another article that I need to give you, Nermal. This article here. Please read this article, Nermal. Impress me with your questions. Why asking the right questions matters. Okay, read that. Okay, let's see. All right, I've almost caught up with the comments now. What can I do for my laziness? Please give me some advice. Okay, Roya, look at me. Stop being lazy. Every time you're gonna be lazy, just remember me and that face, that ugly face, yelling at you. Mercedes says, I don't like confidence in my life. What do you mean by that, Mercedes? And Waleed, send me a message, Waleed. Private message. I don't know what you mean, but send me a private message, Waleed. Do I think modern political leaders or modern pop icons hold that same power to permanently alter the English language today as did the King James when King James ordered a new translation of the Bible in 1611, which accidentally standardizes phrases we use today? Oh, that's a deep question. Okay, so do I think that modern political leaders or modern pop icons have the same power over language to permanently alter the language? Maybe, I would say not maybe as individuals, but what's the right word? As a social group, maybe. As a social or even an economic group, I could even say, definitely, right? So, for example, euphemisms. Euphemisms are words that we use to soften language so that it's not so harsh. So we don't say he died, we say he passed away. That's a euphemism. Now, sometimes that's done in a very innocent way just to make things nicer. It's polite, right? But there are many times when language is euphemized in a way that makes it sound less damaging, but it's very damaging. So, for example, in war, when they drop a bomb and it hits it gets the people they want it to get, but then it also gets 300 people that they didn't want to get, what do they call those people? Do they call those people accidents? Do they say that those people were unfortunate deaths? No, they call that collateral damage. Collateral damage, and that's a euphemism, and that's sick. That is a perversion of language where they're using language to soften things that shouldn't be softened. Okay? So, all I'm saying is that as an individual, I don't think there are too many individuals who have that type of power anymore. But language within a group absolutely does change and mutate in ways that sometimes are being driven by a force or a purpose. Okay. What is a predicate? A predicate is it's the part of the sentence where the verb happens and it tells you something about the subject, right? So, for example, if it's a simple predicate, then it's just the dog barked, right? So barked is the predicate, okay? You're welcome, Miriam. I'm glad you like about the root history. Yeah, I know. I'm a weirdo about that stuff. I love that stuff. All right, let's see. Sometimes using English too much tires me out. Do you also get tired of constantly using a foreign language? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's normal. Using any language is very taxing on your brain. It's a very complicated system. Languages are very complicated systems that our brains are using. Our native language is the most relaxed one, or the least taxing for us, because we're able to use it easily, or more easily, right? We're able to use our own language pretty well. But then you switch to a new language, and that means that you're now using a system of language which is very taxing on the brain, but it's a new system of language. That means that's even more taxing on the brain. Okay, it's very difficult. So absolutely, it gets tiring sometimes. Michelle, if you want to practice English with me, I have 91,000 followers that want to practice English with me. So I don't do that, but I come here and I teach. So you should come here and learn. Learn English says I speak English, but my grammar is wrong. How can I fix that? I will give you a book. Let me find it for you. That's book 2. Where's book 1? Book 1. This is my favorite grammar book. It's free. Okay? Go check that out. Where did I learn English? I'm from the US, so I learned English in school. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. I learned to be an English teacher many years later. But I just always liked learning. And thank you, Michelle. You don't know what's the best way to improve your English. In fact, you don't know how you can turn from C1 to C2 or from B2, let's say. So You don't need C2. Nobody needs C2, almost. Have you ever seen what C2 language looks like? Okay. Every language level is a neighborhood, and some neighborhoods are very poor and small and common, meaning they're easy and they're fun and you can get along with them easily, right? Yeah, it's fun. A1, A2, let's go to that neighborhood because that's a fun neighborhood to play in. You can go down there and learn that neighborhood quickly and you can start having fun with that neighborhood, right? So A1 and A2, those are small neighborhoods where you can learn and have fun and it's easy, right? Then we get to B1 and B2. Those are big neighborhoods, okay? Most of language happens in that B1, B2 neighborhood, right? So that's not like a neighborhood, that's like a city, and it's a big city. So B1 is like New York City, B2 is like Tokyo. Those are huge. They take a long time to get through. So sometimes people say, I'm not making any progress. I've been stuck on B1 for a long time. I've been stuck on B2 for a long time. That's normal. It's a huge neighborhood. Okay? If you just moved to New York City, you don't know New York City in 3 months. You don't know New York City after 1 year. New York City is a big city. It takes a while to know New York City. Okay? And you can't call yourself a New Yorker until you've been there for at least 10 years. Okay? So think about it like that. Each neighborhood takes some time to learn that neighborhood. Now, C1 is a little bit advanced, but not super advanced, right? But C2 is a very exclusive, rich neighborhood. Okay? That's the rich people's neighborhood. That's only the language of science and the language of academia and professors, the language of law, or possibly, justice and law. That's the C2 language. Okay? But very rarely will you ever see C2 language in real life. It doesn't happen. Okay? Most things in life are way down in the B1, B2 neighborhood. Okay? All right, let's see. As a college student, what should I do to improve my personal abilities? I like that question. As a college student, so I would say it's not about whether you're a college student or you're a high school student or you're just an adult. You are a person and you have to develop yourself as a person. So do you have any skills? Do you have any abilities? You just said personal abilities. So what are those abilities? What skills do you have? Right? Like, for example, my mom is a great talker. She can talk to anyone, anywhere. She's never afraid to talk to anyone. Doesn't matter. It could be the Pope. She'd be like, hey, what's up? She doesn't matter. She'll talk to anybody, right? So she's a great talker. That's a skill. She can use that, right? Maybe you have a talent like art or music or drawing or singing or poetry. Those are talents. Those are personal abilities also. Okay, there's a great man named Bob Ross. He was a painter on TV in America in the 1980s. He was very famous, and he always said that talent is a pursued interest. So what that means is to pursue means to chase after it until you get it, right? So find something that you're interested in. Keep doing it every day. That's chasing it. You're pursuing it. And if you do something every day, somebody's going to come along one day and they're going to say, wow, look at you. You're so talented. Because you pursued your interests. Find an interest, pursue it. Okay? I need to take one quick break because I need to go turn the water off. I was watering the grass because it's going to be very hot today. The word was vociferous. Yes, vociferous. It actually is related to the word voice. It comes from the word vocifere. Vocifere, I think? Vocifera. Oh, I can't remember. What is it? Let me look it up. Wait. Vociferari, which means to shout or yell or cry. But it's related to the word voice. So, yeah, so it means to cry out, like to be noisy. To be noisy is to be vociferous about something. To speak loudly and boldly is to be vociferous about it. How to use idioms and phrases while talking. Practice. Find the idioms that you have that are in common with English. There are many idioms that are in Hindi that are the same or almost the same in English. So that means that if you just learn the English version, you already know how to use it in your language. Now you can just use it with English, right? So do that. Find the idioms that are the same or almost the same in your language, okay? Do a search. Do a search. What's the difference between sway, influence, and persuade? Sway is a basic word that means like a flag is swaying or the trees are swaying in the wind, right? So on a windy day, the trees will sway a little bit like this. They're just swaying back and forth, right? So to sway means to try to get them to lean your direction, to lean in your direction. I want to sway them in my direction. I want to sway them towards my decision, okay, to lean them that way. Influence means, again, to... wait a minute, let me check on something. The word influence actually comes from astrology. So the word influence is actually talking about the gods affecting you and what you do every day. That's what the word influence originally means. It means the stars are acting upon the character or the destiny of men. So that's what influence is. When you influence someone else, you are directing their decisions toward your intent, your agenda, your want, whatever you want, okay? And then the last word, persuade, is more like to convince someone, to say like, hey, you should do it this way because this is good and this is good and this is good, right? So if they hear all the good reasons, then they'll be persuaded by your decision, right? By your not decision, your argument. So influencing someone is more about just affecting them somehow, either good or bad. It could be a good influence or a bad influence, right? And you can think about the gods and the stars affecting man, kind of a thing, right? Persuade is more like to usually tell an argument or tell your side, you know, and if they hear your side, then they'll say, oh yeah, I agree with you now. I heard your argument, now I think you're right, okay? And sway just means to make them start leaning in your direction. Okay. How much time should you spend on English every day, and should my daily routine? What should my daily routine look like? Shreya, that's different for everybody. I can't make a plan for everyone. It's not the same for everyone because everyone has different goals, everyone has different backgrounds, everyone has different needs, right? And talents and skills and abilities. So there is no way I can give one plan that works for everyone. Okay, but what I will tell you is that language is something that exists in everything you do. When you eat, there's language. When you go to the bathroom, there's language. When you walk down the street, there's language. When you drive, there's language. So what I mean is language is something that you can learn with a lifestyle of learning. So when I walk down the street, I try to think about English. I look for things in English. I think about what's that called? What's that called? Do I know what that's called? Oh, I don't know that. Let me write it down. Okay? So language exists in everything you do. So that means you can practice all the time. So that is my solution, is make learning your lifestyle for language. Okay? All right. Is there a problem with my stream? I don't think there's a problem with my stream. Collateral damage of war, or can I say repercussions? No, repercussions is a funny word. The word percussion means to hit. So, drummers. I'm a drummer. Drummers are also called percussionists because to percuss means to hit. Okay? So, repercussion means again to hit. So what that means is you make a decision, and then after you make that decision, maybe there's some bad things that are going to come and hit you because of your decision. Those are the repercussions. Again, hit. Okay? But can you say that that's the repercussions of war affecting the innocents? Yes, that would be true. Yes. But I wouldn't use the word repercussions as a synonym for that, for collateral damage. Okay, let's see. Yeah, if you're having a problem with the stream, I don't know what it is. I don't have a problem here. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, hello Sarah. Sarah, 现在我教他们英文，这是英文课。星期一到星期五我教英文，在美国就是早上的，可是在中国就是晚上的。很多人他们听我，你也可以。Spot the place with air conditioning, flaunting it to the Europeans. You could have air conditioning too, you guys just choose not to. How much for my course? Well, you might not have enough money to afford me, but you can afford my streams here. Okay, you can come to my streams. Okay, and the C1 level of English language is the one that international students are required to provide universities with. Correct. Yeah, that's they need to go to university, you need at least a C1 level. C2 level is like PhD master's level. I am a drummer, yes. Yes, correct, Roya. That's a good use of the word vociferous. Yes. Uh, Salim, we don't talk about religion here, but, um, I can't tell you about whether I believe in God, but I can tell you that God believes in me. He thinks I'm doing a good job. I think that's more important. You have to wake up every day and think, do I think that God believes in me? Because if he believes in me, then maybe I can do some things. If he doesn't believe in me, then maybe I have problems. So, whether you believe in religion or not, it's up to you. But what I'm trying to tell you is there is maybe some value in imagining that you do. Sometimes. You can unpack that psychology. Let's see. Do I check my DMs? I try, but I get a lot of DMs, so it depends. I try. Yeah, Roya, I know. I'm aware of what's going on there. I have many thousands of followers in Iran, and I'm sickened every day by what we see, and there's nothing that I can do about it, unfortunately. How do you get reliable resources to study? You go to my website. I already found all the reliable resources for you. Where did I put it? There. This is my website, and on my website you can find all the great resources you need. Okay? If you quit your job without having another one, there might be serious financial repercussions. That's a great use, yes. Do I believe in UFOs? I do. But I don't know what they are. I believe that there is something, but I'm not sure what that is. Whether that comes from another planet, another dimension, another galaxy, or a combination of those things, or even another time. Who knows? Why did I learn Chinese? Because it was there. I always like that answer. Because it was there. There's Chinese. Why not? I'll learn it. I'm learning, I should say. I still suck at Chinese. Consequences more direct. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Okay, Michelle. Michelle, you're asking a lot of good questions, but you're asking a lot of questions that I have answered many, 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 many times before. So, Michelle, what I want you to do is start coming here regularly and listen. Okay, and you can also go to my blog and read my blog, Michelle. There are many articles on my blog. Some of the articles on my blog are not always about learning English. They're about other things that I think that you should read. But there are many that are about vocabulary or pronunciation or speaking, okay? So please go there. And I know about my water. Yeah, I didn't forget about it. I'm going to end here in just a second. I just wanted to wrap up. I finally caught up with the comments. All right. Some people ask why our accent is pretty on some days and it's worse on other days. I've never heard that before, Ahura. I've never heard that before. I've never seen that before either. I would like to see that, but I've never seen that before. And I live in Ohio. I don't have any family in China. Nope. Okay. Can we speak about music stuff in DM as two musicians? Your producer. Oh, sure. Send me a message after I eat, and I'll check my messages later, okay? So, guys, I need to go. I'm going to go turn off my water and go have some lunch and take the dog out and do some other things I need to do here today. I have a lot of work to do that I'm late for. So, I have to catch up on a lot of work. If you haven't followed me yet, you should follow me. I have been here on Hello Talk for about 13 years. I have been teaching live streams here for about 5 years. I have done more than 2,000 hours of teaching here on Hello Talk. I have about 91,000 people follow me around the world, and more than 1.2 million people have watched me. So come back and watch and follow. Okay? All right. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. I'll see you guys